Hey folks, this is Clay Dennis with Southern Hearth and Patio. Today we're going to give you some great safety tips about fire pits around the home. When it comes to gas fire pits, the most overlooked situation is putting a gas fire pit on a covered roof or a covered deck. While the flame may only be so tall, the problem is you don't know what the combustible temperature or the combustible limit of that ceiling is. If it's wood, vinyl, plaster, whatever it may be, you really don't know what that is. And so what will happen is you'll put this out, somebody will look at the ceiling and say, oh, it should be fine. But that's an awful big gamble for a should. The other problem with having it enclosed or under a roof is the carbon monoxide production. When you're burning a hydrocarbon fuel, either natural gas or propane, you're going to have carbon production. And for the flame to look nice and pretty and orange, you're going to have a lot of carbon monoxide production. So most likely within just a few minutes, everybody around the fire pit is going to start feeling pretty bad, and over a matter of really an hour, I think you're going to start seeing your pretty ceiling turning black from soot. All that said, the most important thing is making sure that you put the fire pit in a well-ventilated, open area. All right? Everybody wants to have a fire pit on a porch where they can get out of the rain or they can somehow feel protected, but the truth is it's extraordinarily dangerous, especially when you don't know the combustible points or the combustible limits of the materials that are being used. Most of today's gas fire pits utilize a system called a key valve. A key valve is a recessed gas valve deep inside the appliance, and you utilize a key. Now what this does is it slides inside, but it's kind of like a child safety mechanism. It makes it a little bit more difficult to turn on if you don't have the key. The biggest mistake you're going to make here is never turn the key valve and then light the flame. Not unless you're just not crazy about your eyebrows. Install the key and find the setting. Now, we're not going to turn it. We're not going to turn it on, remember. I'm going to hold my flame down, and now I'm going to turn my key. And now my fire pit is lit. The last thing I want to talk about is understanding BTUs. If you go to Wikipedia or somewhere on Google, it'll tell you that a BTU, a British thermal unit, is the amount of energy needed to raise 1 pound of water by 1 degree. Well, that's cool. It's nice to know if you're playing a trivia game, I suppose, but it doesn't really tell you what it means in a real-world application. What it really means in a real day-to-day situation is kind of understanding how much heat something's going to put out and also how much gas it's going to use. A gallon of gas is roughly 91,000 BTUs in an hour. So if you buy a 45,000 BTU fire pit, that means you should have 2 hours per gallon. One tank holds about 4 gallons, so you get 8 hours. If you have a 100,000 BTU fire pit, a 25,000 BTU fire pit, whatever those are, you can do the math and understand. Natural gas is going to be about 100,000 BTUs per therm, or unit. If you look on your gas bill, you paid about $1 per therm or per unit. So if you bought a 50,000 BTU fire pit, this is going to be about a half a therm an hour. Okay? And it kind of gives you an understanding about how long it should last and how much it should cost. This particular fire pit right here is by California Outdoor Concepts, actually is a 50,000 BTU appliance. And all that really means is on propane, I'm going to have plus or minus 8 hours per tank. Okay? Now certainly I can turn it down from there, but anything any higher than that can be very difficult to stand around because of the heat it puts out. A fire pit is a great way to generate a lot of memories for your family. Just make sure they're good memories, okay? And the way you do that is making sure that you're always safe. Put them outside, keep them away from covered areas, keep them away from enclosed areas, okay? We want to make sure everybody's nice and safe. And also make sure you do common safe practices. Make sure that you light it the way you're supposed to. Make sure you always turn it off. The last thing you want to do is think that it's off and then have a small leak of gas or propane. In a best case scenario, you simply run out of gas on your propane tank, and that's always frustrating the next time you want to light it. But the problem is, if anybody ever walks around a fire pit where you've left that gas on, it'd be pretty traumatic as well. Thanks for watching the Southern Hearth and Patio channel. Check back often for more videos. If you have any other questions or anything I could help you with, my name is Clay Dennis, and I can be reached at 423-899-3853 or visit my website, southernhearth.com.